Welcome everyone to Group 7 video project. Our topic for this project is compare and contrast the mass media between China and the United States. We have 5 group members including Sokmania, Thawattai, Katikun, Waraman, and Dane.
First, let's take a look at the definitions of mass media. Mass media refers to all those forms of communication where large numbers of people are exposed to an identical message. New media technology wields a transformative power, granting citizens a tangible sense of control and influence over their democratic environment. For instance, online forums and social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook give individuals a voice in public interactions and citizen journalism. They enable people to look into problems, hold authorities accountable, and organize for crucial reforms. Ideally, these media outlets should operate independently and without censorship, capable of informing the public about government activities and providing a platform for diverse political opinions and debate. However, the reality is that the media environment varies significantly across different political and cultural contexts, profoundly influence its operation and impact. In the United States, the media environment is characterized by its pluralism. A diverse array of media outlets spanning from traditional newspaper and television network to digital platforms and social media contribute to a broad spectrum of viewpoints. This pluralistic environment is underpinned by diverse ownership and relative freedom of information, promoting democratic engagement and accountability. Conversely, in China, the media landscape is predominantly state controlled. The government exercises significant control over content and information dissemination with strict regulation and censorship mechanism in place. The restrictions on content and the emphasis on state-approved narrative limit the diversity of viewpoint and curtail public debate on political matters.
The United States mass media are pluralized, and the government does not own nor control media. But they do criminalize and impose regulation in several ways, such as on content and market competition. The media have great importance to American politicians. They use it as tool to reach the mass. And the same thing goes, the media organizations also see politics as good business. Americans obtain political information through three sources, such as print, broadcasting, and internet media. The most advantage of internet media are that it is non-commercial. You can see almost all politicians and candidates have an account to Twitter, Facebook, and even more social media to maintain their political presence and quick information on their political performance and policy. The print and broadcasting media are most likely financed by advertising and are identified as liberals like New York Times and Washington Post, or are considered conservative like Fox News, talk radios, or the Wall Street Journals, and more. Major influence that shapes Americans' mass media are, first of all, the journalists, the publishers. Well, actually, they may be more important than that of the media organization's owner, as they are actually the one to report and interpret the media story. And here's the question: is a journalist biased? Hmm. They do have their own preference and ideologies. Rather than say that they are Democratic or Republican, they may identify themselves as liberal, liberal, liberalist. Politicians, second, well, they may want to create good image of themselves on the social medias and may seek alliance with the reporter and may use tactics such as leaking the insider information to the reporter, and this will closer their ties with the reporter, while at the same time also influence the way the news is reported as they wish. And politicians themselves also write their own story and send it to the press for a quick media update with hope for no revision. And this is considered good news to news organization as it is less cost per news producing. However, the quick release, especially from the politicians, are likely to be more biased and misleading. Last but not least, there is an audience. Well, most of the media organizations in Americans are profit oriented and tend to scatter to the outskirts audience. And those there is this new bias as they bias toward the conflicts and scandals topic rather than fruitful shake hand discussions, just because it is not very interesting. But differently, China mass media is actually at a large scale difference compared to the United States. But the media and information in China are tightly controlled and owned by the state. And any news outlet are supposed to follow the government propaganda, and that is to be positive and promote the government policy. The Chinese government even established a complete mechanisms to control the flow of information through developing the world's most advanced internet censorship system. The function to block foreign websites. And there will be no such thing as Facebook, Washington Post, or even Twitter in China media. China also creates law and regulation to censor the information that is deemed sensitive to the government. All published news informations are required the government approval and must obtain a license. If not, it will be deemed illegal and thus it will face punishment. In addition, they even have internet police army to oversee and create content platforms. The and all online game and social media require people to input their personal information and national ID number. Various internet companies are also required to store internet user data at local server, and there will be inspections when needed. With such a tight control over the media, the Chinese citizens are severely limited with the freedom of speech and the freedom of press. They restrict them from criticizing the government and at the same time holding their internet privacy in weight.
In the United States, social media serve as a platform for citizen journalism. People can fact check information, hold officials accountable, and expose wrongdoing, empowering individuals to be more active in the democratic process. People can organize protests and look for answers to local problems on online forums, which can increase community power. For instance, WeSolve is an app that connects users with local volunteer opportunities and community projects. It focuses on making civic engagement more accessible and action oriented, allowing users to contribute to their communities directly. Another example is My Vote by the nonprofit Vote 411, a website that provides voters with comprehensive election information, including registration deadlines, polling locations, and candidate details. This website gives voters the knowledge they need to participate effectively in elections. Government agencies increasingly use social media to share information, public records, and updates, increasing transparency and keeping citizens informed. Regarding political engagement, social media groups and online forums can discuss political issues, observe more about candidates, and encourage civil debates. Globalization also plays an active role in democracy, fostering a sense of global connection and collaboration. Social media helps connect activists and organizations worldwide, encouraging them to collaborate on issues like climate change or election monitoring. This global collaboration, facilitated by social media and online forums, not only strengthens the democratic process but also makes each citizen feel connected and be a part of a larger global democratic community. For example, the Citizens United Supreme Court decision in 2010 loosened restrictions on corporate spending in elections, in which some legal scholars argue that it resulted from the globalization and increased corporate power. Debates resulted between proponents of the decision who said it allowed people and groups to voice their political opinions and opponents who said changes to campaign finance could level the playing field for politicians by reducing the power of wealthy corporations. Overall, technological and globalization enhancements have enabled citizens to actively participate in democratic processes, which makes them feel more informed and they become a more responsible participants.
Despite the advent growth of new media technology, globalization, and e-politics around the globe, the challenges that this development have posed are still a need to be handled. Each is a complex web of challenges for democracy. One of the most significant issues is the rise of echo chamber, where individuals are exposed only to information that confirm their existing belief. We can solidify our belief by surrounding ourselves with information and individuals who have similar views to our own, which can be done through or known as algorithm. There are others who counted that the growing political polarization in the US is caused by this impact. This can even lead to a breakdown in civil discourse, as politicians cater to the most extreme voices rather than seeking common ground, leading to the formation of echo chamber that limit exposure to diverse perspectives. By encouraging the spread of false information, a lack of diversity in multi-perspective and fact-based information can have a damaging impact on society. The echo chamber case has been seen on several social media platforms in recent years. It was noticeable during the 2016 US presidential election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, for instance, and more recently on contentious issues such as abortion, gun control, and vaccination. Social media platforms were used to spread misinformation and propaganda, which contribute to increased polarization and divisions. And that links to another challenge that is bound to be caused by the new era of technological advancement, which is the proliferation of disinformation and fake news.
Fake news. It doesn't bother me at all, but I like real news, not fake news. You're fake news.
Misleading information is growing on social media due to how simple, easy, and convenient it is to spread, undermining the institutional credibility and spreading misleading information. In this era, people have access to their phone 24 hours a day, and the internet is a free place where you can just spread anything that you want at any time. And it can affect the people that read, listen, and see what each and everyone share on a cyberspace. It is the perfect playground to play the politic game for politicians. Once again, the 2016 US presidential election can be used as a prime example of how fake news and propaganda can have a significant impact on public opinion. During that time, bots or robots were in charge of spreading false news ahead of time during the 2016 US presidential election on Twitter. They have also targeted a prominent user with mentions and reply, and they almost completely stopped sharing fact-checking articles in the central part of the network, while social bots were on the rise. This means that the mainstream that the social media user could see on their feed during that time is mainly filled with false news, and with all that, the influence obviously get to them in no time. Furthermore, the rapid pace of technological change has created a digital divide between those who are digitally literate and those who are not. There is a need to enhance on educating citizens about digital literacy and their critical thinking skill, as it is crucial for them to be able to navigate the complex media environment and to be correctly informed about the political decision, news, or any idea that is roaming around freely on social media. Not to mention the digital divide is also a part of the challenge too. It represents the gap between those who have access to and are proficient in using digital technology such as computer, mobile phone, the internet, and those who do not. At this time, not everyone around the world has access to the internet nor to afford a new technology device, and that is somehow a part of the challenge for them, as that can lead to make them feel isolate and exclude for those who are not online, exacerbating existing social and economic inequalities. All in all, the challenge facing democracy in the digital age are a lot and complex. From echo chamber to disinformation, this issue requires an immediate attention and solution. And that shows a call for assistance from policymakers, social media companies, along with citizens to work together to promote digital literacy while also enhancing the protection of online privacy and ensuring that democracy remains resilient in the face of technological.
For the next part, we will take a look at the future direction of each country mass media. Now, the future direction for both country mass media cannot be more different. Looking at America and the increasing polarization in its politics, we can see that reflect in its mass media as differing media company focuses on different things and blame different people for the current state of the country. This divide has reached a point that the average consumer of this media now live in an echo chamber in which they are unlikely to hear the other side of the debate and as such cannot understand why almost half of the population is opposed to them. This inability to understand have caused different voters to view the other not as fellow citizens but as an enemy they have to defeat. The divide is likely to continue until the political situation stabilizes and both the left and the right manage to find a middle ground in which they can find a compromise that satisfies both sides. This does bring up an interesting chicken and egg question, however, as to which came first. The divide in the media caused the current political polarization in America, or the political polarization caused the divide in the media that we can see every day. Now, moving on to China, the direction of the Chinese media is unlikely to change, as they are not corporations trying to make a profit, but they are instead more akin to an extension of the Chinese Communist Party, and Xi Jinping doesn't look like he would be willing to give up the tool to control the populace anytime soon. As such, we can expect more of the same from the Chinese media, such as government propaganda and towing the party line. However, with tension rising between China and the US over places such as Taiwan and the South China Sea, we may see a rise in nationalistic broadcasts, trying to convince the ordinary Chinese people of the righteousness of the CCP cause and trying to portray them as heroes, fighting against Western imperialism and prevent another century of humiliation on China.
In conclusion, mass media plays a critical role in shaping democratic engagement and public discourse, with significant difference observed between the media landscape of the United States and China. In the US, a pluralistic media environment fosters a diversity of viewpoints and encourages active citizen participation through various platforms, especially social media. This open exchange of information enhances transparency, accountability, and community involvement. Conversely, China's state-controlled media landscape underscores a stark contrast, with strict regulation and censorship limiting free speech and diverse political debate. The government's centralized control ensures that the media content aligns with state policy, curtailing public discourse and maintaining the party narrative. The opportunities presented by new media technology, globalization, and e-politics are profound, empowering individuals to engage more actively in the democratic process and fostering global collaboration on critical issues. However, these advancements also bring challenges that need careful management, such as the rise of echo chambers and political polarization.